When in trouble, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. If the others follow you, chances are they're clueless too. This is the Suburban Sentinel, along with Bella the camera cat, and I wanted to start out with that little ditty from my days of doing government work. These are quite manic days in the firearms industry. Shortages of weapons and ammunition are now the rule rather than the exception. Prices have gone crazy, and everybody in the gun community is quite afraid, and rightly so, of legislation pending in Congress. Come on, Bells, get out of the way, baby. But despite these troubling times, we need not buy into the hysteria with respect to purchasing arms and ammunition. This video is for those of you who were somewhat late to the party in acquiring arms and ammunition. Now, it doesn't really matter why. Perhaps you weren't old enough, or perhaps it just wasn't a big enough budget priority for your family in the past. Whatever. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just want to give options on what the shooting community can do right now. Let's assume that if you had your druthers, you would be buying an AR-15 these days. Well, if you can find one, and they will be hard to find, you're looking at a market in which some people are selling quite well used AR-15s for $1,500, whereas 6 weeks ago, a new one could run you as little as $700 or $800. AR-15 magazines, such as this PMag, a month and a half ago, were selling for $11 or $12. And now some people are gouging and trying to get $60, $70 for these things on eBay. 223 or 5.56 ammunition to feed your AR-15. Getting scarce as hen's teeth. Handguns too. Essentially the modern striker-fired guns, the Glocks and the M&Ps, very hard to find, at least in the local gun shops around here, and the prices have climbed rapidly. So what are your options? Well, first and foremost, you can search around and hope to get lucky and find reasonably decent deals. And that is certainly a viable strategy, but I wouldn't count on finding a good deal on everything, that's for sure. Another option is to bite the bullet, so to speak, and just pay market prices for the equipment you desire and spend way more money than you would have 6 weeks ago. And if money is no object, more power to you. But for most of us who are on a budget, we don't want to spend money unnecessarily. Plus, if you're a prepper, for every dollar you spend on arms and ammunition, that means there's one less dollar to spend on something else. You don't want to be in the position as a prepper where you have all bullets and no beans. A third option is just to wait it out and hope that the laws don't change and that all of us together with the NRA and the GOA are successful in repelling the new gun legislation that's pending, and wait till prices in the marketplace drop down. And that certainly is a viable strategy. The only problem, of course, is that none of us have a crystal ball, and we don't know if these weapons and ammunition will be available, at least legally, in the future. Also, we don't know that even if there is no substantial change in the law, the existing demand may drive prices up even further. So, of course, it's like anything else, somewhat of a gamble. The fourth option, which is the focus of this video, is to purchase arms and ammunition that are still readily available even in today's market. You don't necessarily need to get caught up in the hysteria over modern semi-automatic weapons. Some old school firearms and some newer designs that have kind of been off the radar as far as public interest are very viable alternatives to arm yourself. So first, let's talk about handguns. On the screen here is the old-fashioned revolver. Now, it may not be the coolest thing around or the latest and greatest, but as they say, wheel guns are real guns. This 6-shot 357 Magnum revolver, I have checked these guns, but I'll do it again on camera and it is empty, is a very viable defensive weapon. It may not carry 15, 16, 17, or 20 rounds like some of the modern pistols, but the reality is it's pretty unlikely that you will need more than 5 or 6 rounds in a defensive situation. In addition, the revolver does have certain advantages over a modern combat pistol. The battery of arms is simply pull the trigger again. There is no tap, rack, bang to worry about, and revolvers, if well maintained, are extremely reliable. Moreover, they're fairly easy for relatively inexperienced shooters to manipulate and fire successfully in a defensive scenario. There's a ton of revolvers out on the market. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full size like this Ruger GP100. Of course, there are revolvers that are much easier to carry and conceal, like this 5-shot 357. And this gun has also been safety checked, by the way. I've never felt undergunned carrying a revolver. And in point of fact, this Ruger SP101 has been my primary carry weapon for many years. Now, I believe that prices overall on revolvers have gone up slightly, but they are still readily available on the market. And just as important, the ammunition is still available. The price of all ammunition has gone up, but 38 Special, 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, all the popular revolver calibers are still available. One particular advantage of the 357 revolver platform is that not only can you shoot 357 Magnums, you can also shoot 38 Specials. So that gives you some flexibility when you're trying to conserve ammunition, or there's a limited amount of ammunition available in the future, if that comes to pass, which hopefully it won't. Let's move on to pistols. And Bella is back in the picture frame. Despite the current shortage, there still are pistols readily available on the market. I just did a review of this P95 Ruger not that long ago, and this gun has been safety checked. But we'll do it again for posterity's sake. And Bella is in the way as usual. While this particular pistol may be a slightly outdated design, it's still a very effective and very reliable handgun with a 15+1 shot capacity. And the best part is this gun is still available. In point of fact, my local gun shop still has this particular model and others much like it for around $300. Is it the latest and greatest? Nope, but you can buy one. It comes with 2 magazines and you won't have to break the bank to do it. So while Glocks and M&Ps may be very hard to find, at least they are around here, there are alternatives. Let's move on to long guns. Don't overlook the humble shotgun as a defensive weapon. Shotguns are highly utilitarian. They can be had in a variety of flavors: pump action, brake action, semi-automatic, and they can take a wide variety of ammunition if properly equipped. For engagements under 50 yards, the shotgun is a devastating weapon. And of course, when properly equipped with slugs, a shotgun can reach out much further. Although a shotgun is certainly not ideal for every application, it's powerful and versatile. Of course, there are many downsides to shotguns. First, of course, being the weight, most shotguns tend to run heavy, and the ammunition is extremely heavy as well. But don't overlook the scattergun when looking for alternatives. In my opinion, a shotgun is the supreme weapon for home defense in your typical urban or suburban environment. Moving on to rifles and carbines, let's not forget the tried and true bolt-action rifle. While it may not have the speed or coolness factor of an AR or 8K type platform, the bolt-action rifle is still a very viable weapon, even in this day and age. Don't forget that in World War II, the German infantrymen went to war with bolt-action rifles with devastating effect. With a little practice, bolt-action rifles can be run fairly quickly and accurately. Also keep in mind that there are several advantages to a bolt-action rifle. The inherent simplicity of the bolt action makes these type of rifles easy to use, very reliable, and very easy to maintain as well. This particular rifle comes with a 10 round, where legal, box type magazine, and 10 rounds of .308 going down the range relatively quickly can do a lot of damage. So again, in my opinion, this is a viable alternative to a semi-automatic platform. Is it ideal in all situations? No, but don't count it out. Also keep in mind the old school lever action rifles and carbines. I don't own a lever action, but again, those can run very fast with a little practice, I'm sure, and are very viable weapons. And Bella is in the way once again. Finally, don't rule out pistol caliber carbines. Pistol caliber carbines like this Kel-Tec Sub 2000 here on the screen are fairly potent weapons. No, they're not ideal in all situations, of course, but they do put a 9mm or 40 or 45 caliber handgun round downrange with a sufficient amount of power for engagements of, let's say, 75 to 100 yards tops. But again, a viable alternative if you can't get your hands on the AR-15 that you've been hankering for. So I hope this helps keep things in perspective. We need not buy into the mania surrounding guns and ammunition, at least not yet. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. This is the Suburban Sentinel, along with Bella the Camera Cat here somewhere. Shoot safely, everybody.